Hi, we're going to run you over the basics of keyword research. It's 5-minute SEO, so it's a very brief overview. Here I've got a step-by-step that you can look into in more detail. Just pause your screen and have a little bit more of a look at it. I'll just scroll down so that you can do that. Okay, so basically what we're looking at here is just going through a couple of different stages. There's the prospecting stage where you try and capture as much language as possible, and then there's a refinement stage where you try and break that into separate groups and then just make them very refined around a central idea, a cluster, a niche, or a group there. For this example, we're using a photography website from Australia, and we're going to use a couple of tools here. Google Insights, which is valuable for finding different types of language. You just put in the different terms up the top here, the areas, and it gives you some different language ideas down here, and you can drop down between them, and you can see you get different types of ideas based on the location and the terminology there. Obviously, if you're not that familiar, you'll want to look at antonyms and synonyms for the different services and techniques being used by a client. So a thesaurus and Wikipedia is a good fallback for that kind of thing if you want to really drill down a bit. Okay, so one great trick I use is when I'm looking for a particular service, I'll Google that for that region. So Brisbane wedding photographer. I'll look for one of the top ranking sites, and then what I'll do is I'll actually extract keywords from that site. You can see I've added a URL here and a couple of refining searches there, and then it gives me all the related wedding photography language from that high ranking site. So for this particular niche, what I'd want to do is go through these and just tick relevant boxes for services and terminology that really sync with what I'm trying to do here. So for instance, photography wedding might be really relevant, but wedding photography how-to may not be so relevant. We're not trying to school people, we're trying to sell a service. So for this instance, maybe that top one isn't that relevant for what we're doing. Okay, so once you've gone through and you've put in a bit of the terminology from the different competitors there and from the vernacular you found from the different sites, you'll start to pull out different niches. At first you'll have a big bucket of keywords that are all relevant photography, but what you'll want to do is you'll split those apart into different service ideas. So you can see we've already done that here. We've put some as portrait photography, family photography, freelance photography, professional photography, rock photography, and so on. And if we scroll down here, you can see that there's a lot of different language being used as we go further down, and the search volume obviously decreases the longer the search words are. So for instance, what we're saying here is baby photographer professional gets 260 searches a month, so it's down towards the bottom of this list, whereas the more general keywords, professional photography, is getting around 6,600 local searches a month. So really what you're trying to do in keyword research is do a lot of market research, look at what your competitors are doing, look for alternative synonyms for the same services that you're doing. If you, for instance, are looking at photography, you want to look at what different types of photography there are there and the different language people are using when they're talking about that. So you can see we've identified a number of niches here: art photography, events photography, fashion photography, and we've really split it down. And what we'd usually do is, once we've isolated these different groups and we've separated keywords into those groups, we'll feed these keywords back into that Google AdWords preview tool. And so you'd have about 40 different wedding photography type terms in here, and then it'll refine it further. One of the recent things that they've done with this is they've added this ad groups ideas beta, which makes it even easier to do this and does a lot of this work for you. So here it's saying that if this is relevant, you could take all the cheap wedding ideas. If you're a price conscious service offering, then this is a great niche for you, and you can select all those keywords. If you're just a photography website rather than a service provider, then these keywords would be relevant for you. So this is a really great step forward for keyword research, and takes some of the pain out of doing this research yourself. So that's a really brief overview of how to do keyword research. Analyze the site, analyze the market, extract and collect the terminology, group it into niches, and then clean the keywords. The application of this is not just for on-site copy, it's the titles and descriptions as well as the link building stages, where you'll want to create a seamless experience from the search box to the shopping cart using SEO, CRO, and a few refinement and technical techniques. Okay, thanks a lot.